Hey everybody, hope you guys are having a great day. So today's video is one that, I need Bill's help on because he was born and raised here. Why have things changed so much in Florida? I mean, I know why, and we'll explain why. But the locals, the people that were born here, are actually getting pushed out because of inflation, the cost of homes, taxes, insurance, auto insurance. I can name so many things. See, in my opinion, people are moving down here from more expensive areas, jacking up all the prices, and put the people that been born here, lived here their whole life, kind of robbing them of affordable homes. Now, I'm not saying it's the people's fault that moved here, because I'm one of the people that moved here too. But it's people can't afford Florida anymore. Florida used to be the place to go to save money, enjoy the warm weather, buy an affordable house. Back in the day, people from New York used to try to buy a house down here for like 60, 70,000. I'm talking about back in the 80s, early 90s. And they used to try to insure the cars here because actually car insurance was cheaper than here. So Bill, I need you to explain to us how much Florida has changed in the past decade.
No, it's not too far back.
Yeah.
Just over even just the past 10 years, which is like a really just that little blip in time, compared to 40 years ago. Just our population growth has been astronomical, and like you said, this used to be dubbed the retirement state. Affordable living, warm weather most of the year round, warm by everybody else's standards. Winter for us is still cold because I'm a Floridian.
Right.
In 60 I'm dying. But it's changed. We've gone, I've watched subdivision after subdivision after subdivision go up, shopping malls, road expansions. I've seen roads that have been widened twice. But
do you feel like Florida's missed the character the way it used to be back in the day? It's like it doesn't feel like the same Florida. Yeah, I mean, it's more commercialized, it's more populated, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of gotten to that point where...
Oh, we can sit a little bit.
All right. We've gotten to that point where you'll see, some of these communities that have undergone some redevelopment that, they hold that they're charming and they're, quaint.
Yeah. Because
they've done a really good job of keeping up with the times, yet maintaining that Florida feel with a little bit of a modern spin on it.
So you're talking about a planned development you're talking about?
No, I'm talking like redevelopment. So, because like planned development, let's take like Longleaf and Trinity, which is in Pasco County.
Yeah, a lot of people
Florida.
Don't know where we
are.
So
but they've taken old Florida and even, South Carolina, North Carolina style houses, front porches, parking in the rear driveways, things like that. So people are, outside and talking to people more. That's kind of like that charming, but it's all modern and new. Then on the other hand, you'll take like Dunedin, and Dunedin, they've done a really good job maintaining that old feel.
And Dunedin is just along the Gulf of west coast of Florida. A lot of people don't know where Dunedin is.
I know, but we can't explain every city.
but what I'm just saying,
they get the idea.
But I'm just saying, but it's just not the same.
No,
it's not.
No,
the same.
it's not. But those cities have done a good job. Same thing like Indian Rocks Beach. That's along the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's got a beach feel. Yeah. They didn't knock down and put condos.
Right. But at the same time, do you feel that a lot of people that were born and raised here just cannot afford Florida anymore? Yeah. It's not an affordable place like it used to be. If you're going to move down here, you should have some money.
Yeah, well, just in my opinion, but that's the way money has moved. So if you look at how the money has moved over the last 10 years, everybody that's coming, or majority of the people that are coming to Florida right now, especially over the last few years, it really became rampant over the last 3 and 4 years. They're coming from areas where salaries are much higher and cost of living is much lower. So then you come to Florida, and then they buy that second home. Let's take like New York as an example.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, so you come from New York, where cost of living is through the roof, but salaries are up there too to keep up with what the cost of living is. So they come to Florida because they can remote work, you know, in a lot of instances, or, you know, commute back and forth kind of thing. And what you can get as a home here versus there, like in the city. I just got off the phone with actually a friend of mine today, and his daughter's rent doubled. You know, she's at $7,000 a month for a small 2-bedroom
In New York?
in New York.
That's crazy. That's stupid.
$7,000 a month.
So they come down here and they're paying $2 or $3 grand. It's
nothing.
It's a 50% discount for them. Meanwhile, the people that are born here and raised here never saw that kind of rent, and now they're being asked to pay the $3,000, and they can't afford it.
Right.
So a lot of them are moving to places like Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina. You know, just right over the border of Florida. They're actually leaving, and more people move in and buy, you know, and able to spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a house, these people can't afford it. They're like, all right, you know what? I'm going to Georgia. I'm going to Tennessee, and that's just the way it is, from what I see.
Yep, and it is happening, and it's sad. So, you know, you either have to make more, as a Floridian, you either got to make more money, but salaries aren't going up.
Right.
Because I can't get a job in one of these higher priced states and live here in Florida. But you're in a higher price state, and you come to Florida, you're as long as you're able to remote work, obviously. Yeah. You know, and that has really driven the price up, because people are migrating into some of these other states where, you know, cost of living was traditionally lower, and now they're starting to. So it's almost like the last couple of years they shook the country, shook the wealth box up in the country, and everybody kind of just spread out. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing right now. It's just I feel bad for people. They just, you know, and it's not just homes. It's not just taxes. It's
everything. It's
car insurance, homeowners insurance. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, it's food. And I'm not saying it's just Florida. A lot of other places too. But people are just saying, you know, the people that are born here, they're saying, you know what, I love this place, I grew up this place and everything, but I just can't afford it. So I want to stay close. So let me go to Georgia, let me go to Tennessee, places like that. Okay, Bill, at the end of the day, what could people do that just can't afford it anymore, but they love Florida? What, you know, they just can't afford to live in a Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, a Miami, or, you know, Orlando.
Right, yeah, so I feel like the cities in Florida have started, you know, the bigger ones, you know, like you said, Tampa, Orlando, they've started to become the new, you know, downtown areas, New York, things like that, where you have to start moving out into the suburbs. So for instance here, you know, instead of living in Tampa, you might have to do a 45-minute commute, you know, hour commute roughly, and move out to Wesley Chapel, San Antonio, Zephyr Hills, things like that. You're still super close and accessible to airports and things like that. There's a ton of malls and shopping. They're starting to develop that area. So when they're developing newer communities out there, you know, you're getting in at a more affordable rate than you would buying something over here in Pinellas County, you know, even a resale. So, you know, that's an option that you can do. And you just, you know, again, it goes back to, like we've mentioned in other videos, maybe making a little bit of a sacrifice that you've got to drive a little further, but you're getting a much more affordable house that is going to grow more equity over time, because they're generally out there newer construction.
So basically try to stay within the state, but just move to a more rural area and stuff like that. And I guess this stays true of any place in the country. If you're living in a city and you just can't afford it anymore, you know, move to a more rural area, you know, or I can't think of any other things to do. I mean, is it going to help with car insurance? Maybe. Is it going to help with homeowner insurance? Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, the inflation is inflation. It's affecting all of us and everything, and it's a horrible situation that's happening. But we still have an influx of people from the Northeast moving to Florida all the time. They're just coming in drones. You know, there's people leaving, but, you know, I was reading some stuff, and a lot of the people that are leaving are actually Floridians. We call it Florida grown over here. You know. And they're the ones who are leaving because they just can't afford it anymore. And they're not used to the really expensive houses and expensive everything. Right.
Because our salaries are set in a certain way that it was, and we just can't keep up with the growth.
Right.
You know, our salaries aren't keeping up with it enough. Otherwise, it's just going to become, you know, another big city.
Right.
You know, and it's just, like I said, it's just a big giant melting pot now where everybody's kind of the same, you know, and then the remote work is, you know, added to that.
Every other person I talk to is from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, the Northeast. So, and for some reason, I haven't lived in New York for many, many years, and people can still tell I'm from New York. I guess it's my accent or anything.
Once in a blue, it comes out, I think.
Yeah, I think so too, but it's been years. So I don't know how many years you have to live in Florida to be considered a Floridian, but I guess some people are like, you have to be born here.
You have to be born here.
That's what
Sorry.
That's what people tell me and everything.
I'm a Floridian. That would be like me moving to New York for 40 years and, oh, you're a New Yorker. No, you're not.
Yeah. So this is Tarpon Lake, everybody. It's in Pinellas County in Florida. Beautiful lake. Would I swim in it? Absolutely not, because we have alligators and it's probably 90 degrees and there's probably some kind of bacteria in there.
I just don't like fresh water. It freaks me out.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't recommend coming here and swimming in it and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that.
I think your battery just died up there.
Oh. I'm like, anyways, that's today's video. I greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It greatly helps out the channel. Hit the bell notification so you're notified. Thank you, and you'll be seeing another video very, very soon. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you in the next one.
See you on the next video.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.